Oilcloth, the quintessential retro fabric made of heavyweight vinyl fused to a cotton-based backing, is the perfect choice for table toppers, beach bags, and lunch bags. Here's how to make an insulated lunch bag from this colorful, washable, plus very durable fabric. When we look at this fabric, you might recognize from old pictures, or if you saw them yourselves, of oilcloth fabrics, retro, or even on the inside, some newer models with the polka dots. Velcro sew-on tape is used for the closures for the flap, as well as little Velcro strips on the sides to hold the bag in. Keep your lunch nice and cool inside. We talked about the vinyl, the oilcloth on the outside, and let's just take a look at this. You'll need 3/8 of a yard of two fabrics, two coordinating fabrics. On the underside, the wrong side, you'll see the webbing that's adhered to the vinyl fabric, making it easy to wash and keep clean. But what makes it insulated is the fabric that's in the middle, the insulbright. The substrate of this fabric is a metallic fabric, or non-woven actually, where the batting is on either side and it's needle punched through all layers so that it keeps your lunch nice and chilly for you to eat. So here you're going to use, again, 3/8 of a yard of the insulbright. Rectangles are what you'll be cutting for this project. The first rectangle size is 12 by 15. Cutting 2 layers of the outer fabric, lining, as well as the insulbright, 12 by 15. You'll see some other rectangles on this area. This represents a long strip for the Velcro sew-on tape, 1-inch squares for the corners, and we'll later trim away the gusset area, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So 12 by 15. And then sandwich. Create a sandwich with the insulbright sandwich between one outer layer and one lining layer. You're going to make 2 of these, 2 sandwiches. Now when we talk about oilcloth, you've got to really also talk about different pinning options, because a traditional pin will leave a hole in the fabric. So you can pin things, quote unquote, together with the use of quick clips. And I like to use Wonder clips. They're really easy to work with, handy sizes, and work as pins without the damaging of the fabric. The Velcro is going to be stitched down first. And on this sample, you'll see that we have the Velcro stitched down 2.5 inches from the center, centered in the fabric, and then also corners are stitched. Now this is the front of the bag, so you only need the strip on the front of the bag. You need the corner units on both the back and the front. Have the soft part of the Velcro on the front and the hook side, the rougher side, on the back. Now with vinyl, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to stitch. So in a few minutes I'm going to show you some sewing techniques. And the foot that I use to do the stitching is a roller foot. It is designed with 2 sets of rollers that elevate the foot. So as the foot is stitching, it just glides on the fabric using the use of the rollers. So fabric that has some tack, like the oilcloth, the roller foot will help stitch very easily. Another option is to use, in combination with the roller foot or by itself, the water-soluble stabilizer. If you stitch over this, the smooth side, I have it in strips or a large section on the back of it, you just stitch and then remove it by tearing it away. Then you can save the rest of this for another project. So you're going to sandwich the back of the bag and the front of the bag together. And let me just get that ready here. And you'd sandwich the 2 layers together so that you have, here's the back and here's the front, and you stitch around the edges. Here's a close-up of doing the stitching, guiding the presser foot alongside of the edge of the fabric, and you just stitch, straight stitch. Now you may want to consider using a slightly longer stitch length because you have lots of layers here. So 3.5 millimeters for the length of the stitches. Then after stitching, you can clean finish the edges, or I should say decoratively finish the edges with the use of a decorative blade. I have chosen the pinking blade option, placed it in a 45 millimeter rotary cutter, and then simply cut. Now there are a lot of layers, as I've mentioned several times, so depress and just cut away, just trimming so everything is neat and even. And the seam is done. Ta-da! And you do this along 3 sides of the seams. Now to get the shaping, so you have to make a gusset, you can mark on your square fabric a 2.5-inch square at each corner, and then cut this out. After cutting, what you may want to do is to use a seam sealant such as fray check to lock the stitches in this area. We'll use this another couple times. Then, to create the gusset, it's kind of like magic. You just separate the fabrics and you stack the lower seam on top of the side seam, stacking the seams, and clip. Clip. And then sew across the gusset. And you guessed it, you're going to trim again with that pinking blade. On this sample, it's been trimmed on both sides, reinforced with the seam sealant like fray check at the corners if you'd like, and now it's ready for the flap to be created. Rectangles, that's all you need to create this project. Various sizes of rectangles. And the size that you need now is 5.5 by 8 inch. So my tissue paper shows 5.5 by 8 inch, and the flap edges are rounded. A great rounding tool is round the corner ruler. On the lower edges, just trim, rotate, and trim. Here you only need 1 layer of each fabric. Outer fabric, the Insulbrite, and the lining. The Velcro is positioned. Now, I didn't talk about positioning the Velcro before because I'm going to talk about it now. Here we have the Sewer's Fix-It tape. Just tape that's tacky but will not damage the fabric. You can use it as a pin or double-sided tape. Just peel it off. It's sticky on 2 sides after you remove the paper covering. So for pinning or positioning, try one of these 2 options. I think you get the general idea what's going to happen. After stitching the Velcro only to the lining unit, here it's been stitched only to the lining or the inside, then pin the layers together and sew as we did before around the curve. Trim with the rotary blade. Before doing this, you could also add the strap. The strap is 9 inches. It's webbing. Cut it 9 inches and would tack it in the seam a little bit below the top edge. Because after the flap is created and trimmed, you're going to attach it to the bag. We always like to use the pinning technique of finding the center. We've found the center point of the bag, of the back of the bag, the center point of the flap, and you'd meet wrong sides or lining pieces together and clip. And after you clip around all the top edges, this is your last row of stitching, stitch again a presser foot width around the edges, and then do the same trimming with the rotary blade, the decorative rotary blade. And there's your bag, insulated bag. Insulbrite on the inside, decorative edges on the outside. Close it, pinch it, and clasp it. But this same technique can also be used with clear vinyl. Donna Fensky and the Sewing with Nancy team made this with clear vinyl and an organza on top, 2 layers put together for a cosmetic bag. Same sizes, same process, without the Insulbrite in the middle because this makes it kind of a decorative, fashionable bag for cosmetics and for travel. Nancy's Notions offers a full selection of sewing notions to test out your new sewing or quilting skills. Order your supplies today.